to contest against someone like Nativz. I think there's options there, though. I think we've seen good things from particularly Woldro, Rusty Sniper, and Poopy. And if you get a bot lane really far accelerated, maybe that's enough to carry you through for a win.
Yeah, I like that you highlight Woldro. I think he does his decent work, especially in the first game of the year. I remember, or first game of the split, he won a game carrying with Jarvan. But generally, he does his job really well. Regardless, bans coming in. Poopy's Blitzcrank being banned out. Extremely high win rate. One of the best Blitzcranks in EU. Every single game is just being banned out. It opens up that Milio first pick because Blitzcrank is incredibly good into it. A lot of OP still left up. Maokai being left up. Milio, Yuumi also to in consideration here.
Yeah, and I think it was what Kitano was sort of alluding to in the interview just before the break.
Side.
It's like there are so many strong champions right now that you really can't ban away them all, especially when you're looking at a team like Uniq that do have these pocket picks that need to be removed. For Nativz, though, you still got that Milio, the Maokai, the Cassante available, can lock any of them in.
Yeah, no, exactly. And honestly, Milio might be one of the best champions of the game at the moment. I feel like that statement can be said with everyone, though. Just going back to your point, yeah, there's just too many good picks. You could say that about literally any pick in the game, but you have Nico still open. I don't know how that went through. Nico still open. You could now potentially choose the... I don't know if they're going to lock this in. They might be cooking something up. You know, versus better teams, cooking is good.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I feel like kind of every team in the NLC at some point has the propensity to just drop a random Yasuo on us. We've seen them kind of have varying different performances, but when the OPs are available, you kind of just lock them in with the Nico and the Maokai, right?
Yeah, exactly. And something now that I'm a bit worried for Uniq is the fact that they either pick the AD carry here or the support. And bot lane is so important because Yuumi's up right now, and it's either you take Yuumi or you let AD carry get pinched. And I really don't like the position that they're in there, because this role is just so broken right now. We know how broken bot lane role is. I think I would probably go for the AD carry role and not let that get pinched. Maybe take away the Xayah, maybe the Jinx. But that's what I go for.
Well, especially when you consider that Rusty Sniper has been a big carry for this squad. I don't think you want to be getting him on any of these sort of lower tier ADCs. You need him on something strong. Stefan going to be on the Wukong, a champion with multiple modes, can do multiple things, getting fight started, providing some PL. And Aragon, I can see you grimacing a little bit there as the Nautilus is knocked in. We're expecting ADC focus in these bans from Nativz?
Yeah, I'd expect ADC focus. Maybe Varus gets left open and the Uniq plays some kind of poke comp with Varus Maokai, Jace, Varus Maokai, something. We saw this by SKT in a recent series, at least a week ago or something like that. I'm thinking about what you pick when AD carry is pinched. Maybe Nativz don't opt to pinch that pool and opt to pinch something else. But for the side of Uniq, you definitely ban out mid laners. Pairings with the Wukong. Annie comes to mind as well. Annie's incredibly good. So is Ahri Wukong. These snap engages, which can make or break team fights.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's defined Vladdy as a player. He's been incredibly aggressive, but has also been able to actually succeed in slightly slower-paced games, and that focus is starting to come through here, Aragon. That Xayah off the board, so Rusty Sniper is going to be pretty risky in whatever he ends up picking.
Yeah, Annie's still open. Yeah, Annie's still open for the side of Nativz. I think that looks pretty spicy for Vladdy here, but who knows? Vladdy has had a history of picking some random stuff, but I think you just go Annie. It's the best meta duo right now, and if you look at that composition, Annie, Wukong, Aphelios, Milio, it's kind of a god composition. I wouldn't want to play against it.
I mean, you just got loads of engage, you got loads of range, you got loads of damage. But very few things more that you need in a composition. That's very intriguing. I agree with the that you gave out there, Aragon.
Yeah, I think Jinx is open now as a potential option. I think Varus with the poke composition or Jinx is your best bet here for Rusty Sniper as a blind on R4. And then you leave counter pick here. Tristana could be mid lane because that's a decent pairing. Or they just play for an all-in bot side with Tristana leaping in with the hooks from the Nautilus. That could be an option too. And that could be the cooked up special that we see from Uniq.
Yeah, I mean, what's the best way to punish a champion like Milio, who is very, very squishy early on? Jump on top of him and kill him repeatedly, especially when you got that Nico who could sneak into bottom lane disguised as a minion and set up for some big plays.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if there's any way this Tristana can be flexed to mid, because usually Tristana mid is a pairing you pair off with Maokai, right? But you have a Nico, so there's just nowhere to put it, and it's just going to be ADC. This is definitely something they had cooking up. And then Cassante, I really hate Nativ's composition. I am terrified of it. I really am. If they lock in Annie here... Or Azir.
Azir. They keep locking in strong champions, Ericon. I don't know why they're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think Azir's okay. I just prefer the Annie Snap Engage combination of Wukong. That's fine. But Azir is still incredibly meta pick champion, a meta strong champion. Actually, you know what I'm going to say? I don't like it. I think Azir's one weakness in lane at the moment is Nico. The lane phase is horrendous. You try to, if you think about the micro interaction, right? Azir tries to auto attack with his soldiers, but he stands still. That always guarantees that he takes multiple ticks of the Pot Blossom, right? And that makes the lane really, really, really bad. So I actually don't like this pick here from Vladdy. I think they could go on for something else.
I appreciate the sort of thought process, attempts to justify. Actually, no, I hate it.
Yeah.
Going through there. But this is kind of different for Uko, right? We had him pegged as this kind of an on-one trick in the top side, but pulling a little bit of spooner action out, perhaps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Uko, I think you could argue, you know, that he's had some good showings, decent showings, because he's found random solo kills, but I don't think those solo kills are replicable. I think he got quite fortunate finding these things, and whenever I watch him play, I see some fundamental errors in his gameplay, like how he pulls waves to hold freezes, you know, stuff like this. I just see him doing it incredibly poorly, and I don't like seeing it. So up versus a Shikari, probably the best Stonewall top laner I can think of in this league, and one of the best ones I ever played against personally. I lost Darius versus Poppy against him, and anyone who plays top lane knows how egregious that is. I think Uko's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get up against, like, Steve Austin, man. Talking about stone cold top laners
Yeah.
in Shikari. And then I think Unicorn matching up against Vladdy. Right, that's going to be tough for Unicorn, because he's similarly found struggles, especially when paired up against Vladdy, who is just very, very good.
Yes. And he's got one of the best mid laners on the patch. I think Azir has something like a 71% win rate globally at the moment in the best regions, like LPL, LEC, LCK, like just absolutely
NLC.
NLC too, yeah. I can factor in NLC there for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's near 100% win rate in NLC now that I think about it. The best teams.
There's something about the NLC mids, like on Azir, is just cracked.
Yeah.
Like there was Erol last split who was insane, and like Nita is also just kind of crazy at Azir too.
Yeah, no, I think this champion's incredibly good in the NLC because of how long the games just seem to be going and how much scaling is a factor, like, and also the buffs, right? He's just so much stronger early now with a 2-second reduced cooldown on the Q that you can actually lane. But again, he doesn't like Maokai, and he doesn't like laning versus Nico. I think that could be an avenue to attack, but still, overall, I would give the draft edge out to Nativz. They just have so many broken picks, but you could say that for the other side too.
Yeah. The game goes long. Maybe we're favouring Nativz, but I do like that you pointed out that mid lane, because the thing that has defined Woljo's sort of playstyle in the NLC has been the fact that he just ganks. He gets into lanes, he drops CC on people, and that means that Uniq have managed to put together a couple of wins for themselves when a lot of people were rating this team as one of the lower ones in the division.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really thrown off by that play fact. I didn't even hear what you said. I was trying to work out what that meant.
Can we bring that back like that? I'm not sure what the whole sentence is. The words in an order. Uniq's coach wants the players to be goldfish, but Uko can't remember why.
Goldfish memory, I guess, is the joke, but I don't really...
Well, what benefits would there be from turning all of your players into goldfish?
Interesting. I mean, there was that, like, the fish plays Pokemon type deal on Twitch that one time, but I feel like I'm getting to two obscure references right now. No matter what, laning, you said that Woljo likes to skip camps to gank. That is true. That actually is true. I remember his games where he like passed straight down to bot lane to dive on slow pushes. Maybe we see an angle out of that, you know? They should be pretty strong if bot lane lands a hook. If Poopy lands a hook, we know he loves his poop champions, his hook champions, Jesus. It could be a bloodbath, right? Because you immediately have Rusty Sniper leaping in and potentially popping them. If Woljo is there, that's even better because there's so much CC. And that's what I want to see from the side of Uniq right here. How can they punish Denvoxney and Twists in this bot lane?
Well, because this is the thing about Denvoxney. I think he's had a very safe split, but he has a tendency on occasion to push up a little bit too far, especially when he thinks that he's in a strong point of power himself. So I think Uniq going to be keeping an eye on that. They're going to be trying to keep an eye on Stefan, as he has started in this bottom side jungle, pathing towards the top lane, and Uniq know that he's not there at the moment.
Yeah, he is. And he's full clearing down, right? He's probably going to go for bot crab. You see an early roam coming in from Poopy here, but take a look. I want you to look at like the laning from the mid lane. it's just so rough, right? He's level 3 to do. He's already traded. You can see a potion's been popped for Vladdy, where no potion's been popped for the side of Unique Corn. And we established that Vladdy is probably better than Unique Corn, but this matchup's incredibly one-sided in the early game. So that's why I wanted to highlight that I don't actually like this pick as much from the side of Vladdy. I know I've spoken to a few coaches about the new rise of Azir. Right, some LEC coaches I've had conversations with, and they say no, this is like one of the one picks that you cannot pick it into. So really surprised at that.
Yeah, but I like it from Unique, right? Not necessarily answering players like hand for hand, right? But if you can answer someone in draft, if you can get one of your guys a good matchup, then you overcome a little bit of that difference. And when you get towards team fights, like the Nico is scary.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how he pulls it off. I've seen a lot of Nikos go in and there's just no follow-up. You know, they might land a massive 3 or 4 man ultimate, but there's just like, it's mistimed, there's no coordination, which is a really big theme we've had today, right? Going in, like when you're mismatched in coordination with your allies, but I wonder if there's going to be a flash forward here from Poopy. It'd be the only angle, but it does look like Wiljo managed to take a reset.
Yeah, and in the top lane, Stefan applying a little bit of attention towards Uko, but with that wave shoving back towards him, there is no chance for the Wukong to get in and make a gank happen. So both junglers turning up on opposite sides of the map, and both of them leaving empty-handed.
Yeah, you can imagine that Stefan's only intention there really was to just make sure the wave crashes in for the side of Shikari. Otherwise, the potential freeze into a ghost rundown from the Olaf could be scary, especially since, you know, Wiljo will be on the top side of the map again, but just hovers there. I think Uko's actually holding the wave for a potential gank. You can see Shikari actually stopped his recall with the minimap, but he walks the wave in, Uko doesn't hold it, and now he's free to do what he wants.
He's falling down pretty substantially in CS thus far, and it's a different style of champion for Uko, as we touched on in the draft. What do you think the Olaf is going to be offering to Unique's composition here?
So typically what Olaf offers is incredibly like strong backline dive, just being incredibly good into heavy melees. He's also very good into the Cassandra. He's one of the go-to picks, for example, of pros like Adam, right? But you have to be an Olaf player. That's the only thing that's a bit of a question mark for me. And you have to know how to communicate what you need with your teammates. So that's why BDS is so good with it, right? He knows how to play mid-game. Adam does, he just permanently groups with the Ghost, right? And it's the same with Darius. These kind of champs are pretty similar. So I want to see if Uko is comfortable on it. The problem I'm having is that he's just been playing a lot of Ornn, right? And these fundamentals do not translate. I need to be convinced of how he pilots these skirmishes and teamfights.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at Nilo, right, he pulled out the Renekton for the first time earlier today, and whilst it was good, did maybe feel like he thought he was going to be a little bit tankier when we were getting into those team fights.
Yeah, he was much squishier than he thought on the Renekton because he just went Black Cleaver second, and ultimately that is more an offensive option versus tankier targets. He was against a lot of tanky targets, but you can't tank anything. However, Olaf's a little bit different, right? You have a lot more, I'd argue, quite a bit more innate tankiness, and you have a lot more DPS and healing, so we'll have to see, right? Uko, I think only time will tell how well Uko pilots. Shikari, on the other hand, is doing extremely well. He has been counterpicked, and he's up in XP. You know that because Uko actually took a recall, and he's up in CS in a counter matchup. It's just really good.
Shikari is quite good at top lane.
Yeah, he's so hard to punish.
Yeah. Probably not going to be hitting the front page of Esports News UK anytime soon, though, to be honest.
Is this a reference?
Very much a known fact. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. If we're calling Shikari very, very good, that's a statement that a lot of people have made over a lot of years, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny it, right? I remember playing against him one time. I've only had the privilege of playing against Shikari one time, and he just stonewalled the hell out of me, and I was useless, right? I was absolutely useless. He is so good at capitalizing on if you make any mistakes with your wave management when you have to create a freeze, for example. He's so good at finding the wave crashes and never being put in an awkward spot, and he's also very good at communicating when he needs, so... yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of words for a very boring lane. I won't lie. They are just farming. But Uko actually going to be forced to recall it. Probably has to take a teleport back in, and then it'll be neutral again.
Yeah, he's going even, but that's not really what you want. The Q there from Unicorn getting every single hit off as Stefan, level 6 now, has the Cyclone to move his way over to the minion. You can't fool anyone by turning into a minion if they see you turn into a minion.
It's just funny, isn't it? I bet Unicorn is kind of laughing to himself. I would be. I think this is hilarious. You just run around. The thing is, though, something that Nico does is when you're a minion, you actually hide the animations of your spellcasts, right? Something that happened in the LEC is you turned into a minion, waddled around like this, and it hid the ultimate cast. right? So maybe that's what he was doing, looking for an ult flash to hide it within the minion form, but it doesn't look like it quite worked out.
Yeah, interesting to see Uko playing a bit more aggressive now that he has hit level 6, now level 7 on the Olaf. When you get that Ragnarok, it's quite easy to go for solo kills if you can play aggressive in the matchup. So maybe Shikari needs to respect Uko a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe, potentially. I mean, this matchup does get worse and worse. Olaf Q innately has a bunch of armor shred, right? So tanks generally don't do the best into it, especially since he can just keep free hitting them with that like refreshing cooldown on his ultimate. Does look like because of this mid lane prior, because you said he's just winning out in this lane phase, they now secure the Rift Herald, right? So honestly, good for early game. The only downside I'd say is that bot lane hasn't been punished at all, right? In fact, your counterpick Tristana tech. Why do I speak?
Why do you speak? Then Voxnay taken down. Solo kill for Rusty Sniper.
It's the biggest caster curse of all time, isn't it? Really nicely done from Rusty Sniper, actually leaping over the ultimate, and then Voxnay just whiffs. You were talking about sometimes he extends, but play might happen here for Stefan.
Oh, Hook gonna go wide. Gets the monkey bonk down. But no kill onto Rusty Sniper. And if this was the one place where Uniq weren't necessarily happy with how things are going, I think they're feeling happy with how things are going.
I really like how that was actually played. It's a nice little micro. Stefan holding his E so he doesn't cast it and get it cancelled by the hook. Poopy casting the hook just in case Stefan presses E. And in the end, it's just a standoff and it neutralizes it. Really, really nice bit of micro there. But again, yeah, no, this is exactly what you want. You pull out this Tristana tech, you find the all-ins, and this is exactly what I wanted to see versus this extremely potent duo of scaling with that Milio and the Aphelios.
Yeah, you got to win the game before they get too strong, otherwise your Nexus is going to be short to fall down. And for Wojo, he's not made a massive look into any of these lanes, but he's been on top of his objectives, been able to take down that first Drake, got a Rift Herald in his inventory as well. Yeah. Maybe setting up for a play in the bottom lane.
Yeah, potentially looking on this wave for a dive. It's a bit difficult. Milio is 6. That's going to be an immediate cleanse, but you have 4 people down bot.
Uniq corner moving over as well. Then Voxnay caught out. The cleanse is going to come through. Rusty Sniper dropping the damage. Poopy has to get out of that tower, Rangers. It's a second kill for the Tristana, and Uniq re-engage under the tower. Get one for their mid laner. Very, very clean stuff coming out from the 2 and 3 team.
What is happening? Why is... Turn off the nameplates and you'd be extremely confused. The tech is working with this Tristana. They managed to shift down using that mid prior because of how good Nico is into his ear, getting that priority, managed to send a 4-man down bot on that slow push and punish Voxnay again.
And the way that we've talked about Uniq is a team that is very, very smart, but you maybe look at these laning phases and you go, okay, there's a little bit left to be decided. They have come out of the early game looking very, very strong.
As we see the replay here, it's just a standard dive, right? You have Wojo casting an ult from Fog of War. I thought potentially there might have been something to do with this cleanse, which could have saved them. But yeah, it's just too much. Uniq Corn forcing the flash, and Twist just doesn't have it in him to survive. Nobody dies for Uniq Corn. Just an overall really well executed dive, and you gotta wonder what's next. Dragon is spawning.
Well, I think maybe another dive bot lane with all the summoner spells off of Voxnay and Twist, with Rusty Sniper, Poopy still having those flashes available, and both their ultimates too. I think if Uniq want to fight in the bottom lane, they could make it happen. And if Vladdy is using Shurima shuffles like that, that incentivizes the Swedish team to go all out.
Yeah, no ultimate now for Vladdy. They definitely lack the tools, but there's a fight going on bot side. I really hope we can see it. No! I don't know what happened. What is going on with Voxnay?
He's dying a lot. A lot, Aragon.
Really, really wild. I think he just doesn't, like, maybe he's just not familiar with being leapt on. Maybe he hasn't played against Tristana in such a long time, you know? I mean, just it's going to be the final plate now and the First Blood Tower for the Tristana. I don't know how Uniq are pulling this off, but they could just snowball this. Maybe they rotate now to topside because they are going to secure this dragon. They have no need for their bot lane to be bot lane anymore. They can just put the Tristana top lane, harass Shikari on the tower, and secure that tower too.
They've come in with a plan to attempt to defeat the #1 team in the league, and as it stands, that plan is going...
They look top.
Very, very well. Uko looking for Shikari. Are we going to see one of those fabled 1v1s from the Finnish top lane with the undertow going wide? Means not likely. Stefan can't make a gank happen. But for Nativz, I'm surprised to ask, how did they get back into this game?
Yeah, that is a statement you wouldn't expect to make. It does look like Uko is going to stick around. I think the best thing you could do right now is have Aphelios cross map onto these plates down bot side with this Chakram, but Shikari might be picked here.
Ooh, flashing away. Uko hitting the undertow, popping the ghost, going under the tower, rooting the Cassante, and that is an easy kill for Woljo. Uko should just about get out of there with his life, and Nativz, they need to punch back at some point.
Yeah, they can't cross map down bot side, like I said, because top lane dies, and now someone needs to cover top lane, and now Stefan is bearing the brunt of it. He's getting invaded by Poopy.
I mean, Woljo already has that demonic embrace. Wukong going back over the wall, but he hasn't been able to do too much damage. Cyclone burns from Stefan. He's going to be able to force Uniq back, but look at Rusty Sniper still waiting in the wings, just waiting for Voxnay to step a little bit too far forward and maybe give Rusty Sniper his 4th kill of the game.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, this is you said he's not doing that much damage, but yeah, he's not on Divine Sunder yet. That's the whole point of Wukong, trying to make a play beforehand because he feels desperate. He's getting invaded. Maybe he can get something back. What do they do to turn this around? I think they've just got to play the defending game. They can't afford to give too many plates over to Uniq. They have to survive, getting Denvoxney online, maybe some gold. Maybe after the Rift Herald is taken, they can keep Denvoxney top on the 2nd dragon instead of contesting the 2nd dragon. Or 3rd. This is going to be the 3rd dragon. Uniq are snowballing this out of their mind.
Yeah, and it feels like what we were asking from Domino in the first game, from Veneer in the second game, right? One of these slightly less favored teams coming in with a good start against one of the top of the table boys, but then actually transitioning as the game goes later. Uniq, they haven't made that silly play, that silly overextension that gets them caught and throws away some of this early gold lead. And if they never make that play, then they could be on for a very, very... Oh, and Yuko's died.
Caster curses this game. No, this is exactly the same look as we had from week 1, okay? We had the enemy pick heavy scaling. I believe it was like a Yuumi lane, right? And then Uniq play these hyper-aggressive early lanes. We had Rusty Sniper Draven and constant pressure down to bot side, and that's exactly what we're seeing again. See, just a kill down bot side. I can imagine it's just, you know, Uko gets pushed back in or maybe gets baited into an all-in.
He just goes for the solo kill, doesn't he,
yeah,
mate?
He does.
Could absolutely respect it from the man, but
nice try.
Using everything, not able to get. And a very nice try. And actually, hold on.
TP.
Uniq started to make silly plays. That's going to be a stun coming through onto Stefan. No way that he's going to be one-shotting Uniq Corn. Nativz, they keep making these plays to try and come back. Some of them working, some of them emphatically are not.
What is happening? What does this mean for the standings? There are so many repercussions of this game. I don't even want to think about it. Are Nativz that good? Maybe it's an off game for Denvoxney. Because if those deaths don't happen bot lane, maybe they can stonewall this better and play off of 3rd dragon. Unfortunately, now if you're Nativz, how do you even contest 3rd dragon? I think they've got to really hand-stiff the enemy now. Really, like, outplay them and find a way to use this Wukong and Divine Sunder as we do approach a pause. But for now, it does look like they're going to cross map top.
I think more thinking time.
More thinking time, yeah.
That's maybe, honestly, what you need here on the blue side for Nativz. And obviously, they're not pausing just to think a little bit more. There's clearly some issue which has transpired. But honestly, I wouldn't mind having 5 minutes to think about my next options because the game's getting to that point for Nativz where if you screw up the next couple of plays, Uniq are absolutely set to bring it home.
Yeah, and they've really accelerated this game, Uniq. They have, right? They've gone Dragon, Rift Herald, securing after this single kill. They've snowballed it after 1 kill onto Denvoxney, and they managed to secure every single neutral objective. Now they're setting themselves up for a 3rd Dragon Soul Point, which most people would say you have to contest, because we saw the implications of what happens when you give over Soul Point. They're just 1 dragon away, 1 sneaky pick away from getting the Soul, and that overrides everything you might do to come back.
Yeah, so we are just getting information. Apparently, Woljo's mouse is disconnected, which is unfortunate. Don't know how that happens. Ideal. It's got a wire attached to it, buddy. Just make sure that that's plugged in to the PC, and it should work. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Maybe a wireless mouse. Maybe it's just not working.
No, he has unplugged his mouse and he can't work out the USB. See, the thing is with the USBs, you turn them upside down and you stick it in, it doesn't work. But you turn it back the other way, and it still doesn't work. What's going on with that? That
happened to me today with my webcam, actually. Funny. No, but it happens to everyone. Poopy managing to pull out this wave, and yes, like we said, they are going to be cross-mapping topside whilst the dragon is spawning, but they can't. The wave clear from Unicorn is just too much. They can't approach this tower and potentially take it. I really wonder if Nativz are going to contest this dragon. Do they feel comfortable on 1.5 items for Denvoxney to potentially contest this? No, he's beelining straight top.
Absolutely not at all. I mean, like, even when you consider just the tools that Uniq have, right? Tristana is going to be gaining priority in mid lane because she's Tristana. And Wojo has this Rift Herald, so they could look to take down that mid lane tower, or at least get a position where they can move over to the Wards of Drake.
Something that Uniq could do, which would be incredibly interesting, is they predict that they don't want to contest and actually send 5 people top now, right? And then they actually punish the fact that they go for the cross map instead of the actual dragon. We've seen that a bit from Nativz themselves. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Does look like they're just going to value placing the Herald down mid lane, securing that mid lane tower charge into using that for prior for the dragon. Is Unicorn picked it?
Potentially. Rusty Sniper's dead? What? Buddy just one-shots him. And Yuko riding a little bit of a fight on the top side. Stefan going back in. Wojo pathing over very aggressively into damage from Denvoxden. It's Nativz who are going to be able to rotate through towards this Drake.
Yeah, it's just so brutal, right? Because this is exactly what I said was happening last week. They would be fine in the mid game, right? Sorry, in the early game. They would even potentially get leads, like yesterday as well. But then in the mid game, they would get randomly picked by Taxa, right? When they played against Verdant, they would get picked by a Vialty. They were completely fine. But before the Dragon, they would all like shift down to Dragon, or they'd be doing something in the river, and some would get picked, and they would throw their entire lead away. And it looks like that's happening again.
That mid lane tower so close to falling down. A bait that Uniq paid dearly for taking. Finally going to be able to drop. They retain the gold lead. They retain the 2 Drakes they took earlier. But Soul, not as much of a win condition at the moment.
Yeah, it is going to stall the game by at least like another 6 minutes, right? It's super important. I guess it's not actually that big of a deal, right? Because controversially, I know a lot of casters like to say they love Cloud Soul, but you know, I just don't see it. I just do not see it. I know, Jamada out there,
He loves Cloud Soul
fanboying it
so
on Twitter.
much.
I don't get it, honestly. I just don't even notice the difference. But AoE circles are nice, I guess, with this move speed. That's
very, very cool. What does DMs feel like? It's just filled with Carmine Court fans and Cloud Soul stands. It's absolutely what is there. Stefan, you don't want to do that, buddy. Uniq might be looking for an engage here. Uniq Corn with the Pop Blossom and twist. Ooh, flashing away from the engage. Rusty Sniper, Rocket jumping forward, but it's a little bit too far. Caught out once more by Vladdy, and Nativz get themselves 2 kills.
And that's so frustrating because they didn't have to do that. They look at bot lane. They are winning this situation already. Rusty Sniper wanted to use the reset so badly to leap in, but if he just hadn't, they would have gotten a pick and they would have secured the 600 gold from the bot lane tier 2 as well.
Little bit sloppy from the Tristana. Rusty Sniper, he's been a big carry for Uniq, but needs to relax a little bit. They're in a strong position, and the only thing that happens from going over aggressive now is you end up giving gold over.
Yeah, just not respecting the fact that you can play through side as well, wanting to keep making these plays and getting a little bit greedy from onto. Yes, you get Stefan, great, but you leap in now. Oh, and you just die. You're not respecting mid prior because your support is on recall, and you're not respecting the fact that your top laner Uko can potentially get this tower as well.
Yeah, shout out to Vladdy, though. I think he's been a real stalwart, a real standout player here for Nativz. Part of the reason why that mid lane tower stood for so long. And the longer he goes without getting taken down, the longer he goes without really being put behind, the scarier the game becomes for Uniq, because I don't want to be fighting against a 2-item Azir, 3, 4-item Azir.
Yeah. And he definitely is coming online right now. He's almost at 2 items. You can imagine that Vladdy could carry these team fights. He's definitely the shining light this game. The most consistent player right now, even in that counter-pick matchup. As you can see, bot lane prio is coming in for Uko here. They're playing the sides much better than Nativz right now, as Nativz try to make a pick instead whilst grouping as 5.
Ooh, poopy, baby. Ooh, that was very, very close. Running
very
towards
tense.
that bush. Mach 5. But running right back out of there just as fast. Nativz, they've only got TP on Vladdy right now, so he's going to be able to reset, clear out some of this wave, as Uko most likely going to back away after this push and give him the opportunity to rejoin his team.
Yeah, you can see he's just waiting to see if anyone matches him, because what Nativz really need to do there is force an engage before they ran out of time and Uko started hitting that inhibitor tower. Does look like they're going to use the fact that Vladdy had to recall to take control of this river again, maybe start up the Baron if they want to, probably not though, and just secure the vision.
Yeah, you see how annoying those saplings are in Nativz jungle, having to walk through those. Thankfully not doing about 30% of your HP, as they did on patches past. Blue side team with mid lane priority. Uniq thinking about an engage.
Yeah, Shikari's going to face check, but he is really tanky.
Really far forward, Poopy with an engage, but he's just going to be able to catch up that Cassante. Denvoxne untouched, able to free hit. Woljo dead as Vladdy is able to get that kill. Poplosson trying to split up the fight and buy some time, but Nativz once more getting 2 kills. Uko joining the fray, but leaving in a body bag as Denvoxne takes him out.
Yeah, and what happened there? That's a big problem with Maokai at the moment, is if you build AP, you cannot W in, right? It does look like they tried to force a fight using this Baron vision, but what incentive does Nativz actually have to walk into there? They're not starting the Baron. They have no reason to try and force a fight. They just waited for all the tools to be used and turned around afterwards.
Shikari tanking that initial engage coming out from Poopy, and if you're dropping all the CC onto the Cassante, leaving the Aphelios to free hit, things are going to go badly.
Yeah, exactly. You could see that now the tools are gone, right? Woljo used his W, but he isn't tanky. He can't tank Denvoxne plus Milio or Vladdy, and all of a sudden you have Uko coming in a bit late, and he's just completely useless. He whiffs the first axe, and unfortunately just doesn't chain into anything. So this is not the kind of fight that I want Nativz to take. I want to see them take more fights around the enemy face checking into them, not Uniq with Woljo Wing into the enemy.
You're sort of reaching a little bit in a situation where you kind of don't need to. And whilst Nativz are going to have this Baron for a couple of minutes, they've done a poor job of taking down these outer structures. So you kind of got the good with the bad. You're going to get a load of standing gold now, but you're not going to be able to push the pressure onto Uniq as much as you'd like.
Yeah, it does look like a dragon going over for Uniq for free, but again, it's just a cloud dragon, right? Third dragon. And Nativz are agreeing. Nativz are saying, you know what, it's just cloud dragon. We can opt for the 600 gold turret, we can cross map instead, but Unicorn is looking for a flank.
A Hex Splash over the wall. Stefan Denvoxne very far forward. Wukong going to be the initial focus. Cyclone buying a load of time. The knockup's actually not going to be enough to take down Nativz as Vladdy goes in for the scoop. Knocks one back as Uko drops down. It's another double for Denvoxne. And Nativz have got back hold of this game.
Yeah, and you could see that the initial target selection was really good. Unicorn didn't get baited into trying to get a multi-man ult and whiffing everyone. He actually just goes immediately onto Stefan alone, and they managed to burst him out with all that single target damage that they had. Unfortunately, Vladdy comes in like a superhero, managing to scoop everyone back over, Woljo and Uko eventually dying.
Yeah, the playmaking, the stability coming out from the young Nativz mid laner has been pivotal for them in a game which was very dicey, but Nativz, they've dusted themselves, they've relaxed a little bit, they're going to be able to come back onto the map with a 3-item AD carry.
Yeah, and I'm just a bit concerned. It feels like they're not really playing with a top laner, right? I'm really concerned the fact that Yuko still hasn't got a second item, right? He still hasn't got that Jack Show or the Radiant, and he's just so far behind. Maybe now you go for the next dragon and potentially try to get Uko to his item. Yes, it is in 3 minutes time, but he is so far behind the curve considering how many resources he's got. He has counterpick, you know, playing towards top side. I think it's really rough. The scaling has come online with that Milio, with that Aphelios, plus the Milio with the bonus range and the cleanses. It's going to be incredibly difficult for that CC to connect from the side of the Nico, the Maokai, and the Nautilus.
Well, off that reset, Uko able to pick up that Jack Show, like we were talking about, but still, the Wukong in a pretty good place. The Olaf, kind of not where he would like to be. We'll get there in the end. We get there eventually. And Nativz has held on, right? It was a good early showing from Uniq, but the scaling, like you're talking about, is coming online. And for Uniq now, you kind of need to look for a flank. You kind of need to look for a bit of an asymmetrical fight, something a bit atypical if you're going to get any kills.
Yeah, and it just feels like Rusty Sniper, he's actually an item behind now, right? From being 3-0 to 3-3, and Denvoxne somehow having a 700 gold bounty and ending up 5-3. What happened? It all stemmed from these random picks that Uniq had from game to game, where even with a lead, they would just run in and just get picked off. I think at one point you screamed suddenly, wait, Rusty Sniper's dead. And I was asking, wait, Unicorn's being engaged on in the top side off screen, right? It's just so peculiar and frustrating because I think this Uniq team could do so much better.
Yeah, if you point this comp in one direction, it can do amazing things if you're able to target someone out. But if you're getting split apart and Nativz can use the mobility of champions like the Cassante, like the Wukong, to just make things a little bit more different, buy space for Vladdy and Denvoxne to free hit, then Unique's chances of winning the game are going to drop dramatically down.
Yeah. So, stop check, 2 minutes to Dragon, right? I think Uko is Oh no.
They
No,
don't
not again,
kill him
okay.
here. But surely he doesn't just run him down in the side lane.
Incredibly close, man. That is a terrifying Denvoxney, but that's exactly the power of the Milio plus Aphelios interaction. Typically, Aphelios is a shorter range AD carry. You combine that with the Milio, he's no longer short range and he has no weaknesses, because that is the go-to weakness of Aphelios, right? That's why this duo is so damn potent, and you can see it nearly converts into a rundown onto Oko.
Well, hold on. You said it's his only weakness. Aphelios also doesn't have a dash, okay? So that's something that you can't possibly overcome with champions or items in League of Legends,
I
all
see
right?
where you're going with this. I see.
But genuinely, that Gale Force could be crucial when Unicorn is looking for engages like this, only able to catch up the Warrior Trickster there, and with a minute to go until Drake, minute to go until Baron, it's a big cooldown to be hitting the table.
No cooldown on that ultimate now. What are they going to do? I think this dragon just gets conceded now, because you're not really a champion. Although, look how fast that cooldown is ticking down.
Really?
I did not expect that. It's almost halfway done. You can see it ticking all the way around. Maybe by the time he gets on the map again, it's going to be up and they can test this dragon.
People were saying this Nico champion was quite strong, and I'm starting to find a few more reasons why. And I mean, if Unicorn can hit level 16, get a big Pot Blossom, that's huge. The 3k gold lead that Nativz have is not enough to overcome every single person on their squad getting CC'd. The options are there for Uniq, but Nativz, they don't look like they're going to give them to them.
Oh, you can see Unicorn trying to find this engage, but without that ultimate, the threat really isn't there, so Denvoxney doesn't care. But Wooljo might be finding something here.
Oh, he's going for a flash engage, but he doesn't quite get it. Gale Force forward from Denvoxney. He's going to be rooted, but he's not going to be caring because he is shooting out bullets that are completely wrecking Uniq. Uko on the back line, offering nothing at all, as it's more and more kills for Nativz. Poopy blast coding away. Unicorn under his own tower being focused down, and with bodies hitting the floor, Nativz are going to look to end.
And you could just see the desperation in Wooljo, right? The champion that's going AP and Jackshow, granted, trying to W forward and find this engage, but I don't even think if that connects, it does anything. Because you have Milio's cleanse right next to Denvoxney right there. Regardless, they manage to take the win, and they're going to end it here.
Yeah, the Leaguepedia score will read 1-0 Nativz, but it was much closer than that. They will join Verdant 5-1 at the top of the